Well, hey everyone. Recently I have had a nice little surge of new subscribers here on my channel. Some have come over from a building video I did a while back. Others have come from my most recent gardening video. So with that being said, if you're new to my channel, what you can expect to find here is a variety of different things. I share my life with you in an honest manner, and what I share is what we are doing at the present time. And if we're building something, then you can expect some building videos where I share tips and techniques that you might find beneficial for projects of your own. If we're out on an adventure, then we'll be sharing some of that. And since we live off the grid and in the woods, our lifestyle is an adventure in itself, especially in the wintertime, as our only access to our homestead is by ATV or snowmobile. But like I always say, folks, adventure and adversity run hand in hand. We're doing what we love and loving what we do and love sharing it with you. Yeah, so now, with it being gardening season, I got some more gardening tips to share with you. So let's get to it. Now, if you've been with me for a while, you've seen that we have some pretty successful gardens. But you've also seen where I share the techniques that we use that make our garden successful. And that's what I'm going to do again here today. Now, if you're a gardener, which you most likely are if you're watching this video, you probably have a whole bunch of leftover seeds. Maybe some packs you used a couple out of, maybe some you never opened, maybe some that you've collected from some of the plants that you had, you name it. But you got a collection, and you kind of wonder if they're any good or not. Well, I've been showing these seeds that we got. We got a whole bunch of these for free one time at a farm and garden place. They had a big box of outdated seeds. This was in 2013. These seeds expired in 12/12, and we grabbed a bunch of them, and we have been using them successfully ever since. Well, now a lot of time has gone by, and sometimes you don't know if they're going to still be viable or not. To take these and plant them in your garden, or even to put them in the seed trays, you're taking up potting soil, you're watering them, and you're kind of wasting a lot of time if they're no good. I'm going to show you how to eliminate that issue and how to find out if the seeds are still viable real quick. Okay. So here's this half pack of pumpkin seeds, right? And these expired in 12/12. This is 2024. Should I throw them out? Why throw them out if they're any good? But let's find out if they're any good, right? You could plant these in your seed trays or in your cups and water them and keep checking on them and wondering if there's anything going on beneath the soil. And if you're like me, you're going to get anxious and you're going to start unearthing them a little bit to see if anything's happening. Forget about it. Get yourself a little tray. And if you're only doing like one or two varieties, or there's a big difference between the seeds, like a pumpkin seed to a bean seed, where it's obvious what it is, then you can just take a paper towel, wrap the seeds in it, get it damp, put it in a little tray, keep it warm, some nice warm place, and within a few days you should be able to open that up and see if the seeds are sprouting. Here I might be doing zucchini seed, pumpkin seed, different squash varieties, a whole bunch of different things. And trying to write on the paper towel or whatever with a Sharpie, and then it gets wet and it bleeds, it doesn't work. So what I use is, I have my little tray, and I just have some little remnants of cloth. Different colored cloth. Here we got teal, here we got a blue, a light green, gray, white, and so on. fact, that's where I'd written with a Sharpie. It doesn't work. Then I'll write on my board what it is. The teal one might be zucchini, the blue one might be pumpkin, etc. So you wrap the seeds in the towel, keep them damp, and keep them warm. A few days go by, you open them up, bingo, we got life. They're sprouting all over the place, right? So then I take those and then I plant them into my cups. And then once those sprouted seeds hit the dirt, it's only a few days before they're popping up, and I have 100% success with the seeds that I've planted. If you plant them in the dirt, like I said, you're just wasting a lot of time and dirt and effort if the seeds aren't any good. Now, even if you have brand new seed, I still recommend using this process, especially if you have a less than perfect atmosphere for germination. Normally we have a wood stove in the greenhouse here, and we can germinate seeds all winter long, and have. Have you seen this place was blooming in February in the past? But this year we didn't have a wood stove in here, and at seed starting time, it was still dropping below freezing at night. Look at that.
Who wouldn't think that's a treat this time of year?
I know. Now doing it this way, the seeds can stay up in the cabin. They stay warm and cozy through that sensitive germination process. They're easy to monitor, and they get a heck of a jump start on their germination. That's a win-win all over the board. In my last video, I showed you how I cover my entire garden with leaves and hay and whatever I rake up from the ground. Since that posting, a lot of questions have come in, so I'll answer them now. I use various types of ground fodder, including grass clippings, and often spread it on the garden 6 to 10 inches deep. At planting time, I simply part the mulch and plant in the soil below. As you can see, the soil beneath the mulch is always soft and moist, so a tiller is no longer needed. Once my plant is seeded, I scrape the mulch back to the stem. I water it this one time, and that's it. There's no fussing over the garden until harvest time. After the harvest, I add more mulch to the garden, and I never till it into the soil. A few other questions had come in about growing carrots in the garden and using this method. Well, I have never grown carrots, although I've grown a lot of beets, but even the beet seeds I start in my greenhouse. When the plant's up about that tall, I put them in the garden, and then I just bring the mulch up to the stem. But if you wanted to start the seeds directly in your garden, I think I'd let the plant get up about 6 inches tall or so, and then bring the mulch up to the stem, and I think that would work out pretty good, because that mulch is going to retain the moisture, keep that soil from getting hard and cakey, and I would think the carrots would grow better in nice, soft, moist soil. But again, I've never grown carrots. So if you're curious about this method but still a little bit skeptical, I'll tell you like I tell everyone else. Don't be afraid to experiment in the garden. What works for one person may not work for the other. So give it a try. Try one section of your garden like this, see how it works out, and act accordingly. And let me know how it works out for you and what part of the country you're in. So anyway, folks, I hope you have good success with your garden. All the best, and God bless.
Frankie and the boss out walking in the woods, living life happy and free. Tracks in the snow everywhere they go. There's a porky way up in that tree. A beaver built a pond where they have some fun, taking life a day at a time. Best friends until the end. Frankie and the boss. Frankie and the boss. Frankie and the boss.